All right, well, I'm sure you've seen in the news where that no-knock raid in Houston was based on a lie. The officer lied to get the search warrant.
We have breaking news about that deadly drug raid that we've been covering for weeks.
Houston's police chief says the lead investigator on the case lied and could face criminal charges for doing so.
Investigative reporter Jeremy Rogalski has been tracking the trouble with this raid and has the very latest from police headquarters downtown. Jeremy.
Well, Reka and Ron, from the very beginning, that veteran narcotics officer claimed it was, in fact, a drug house full of heroin that they raided, but no heroin was ever found. And now, from these court documents, we know why.
Well, first of all, when you lie on an affidavit, that's not sloppy. That's a crime.
A bombshell of an admission from Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo today that the case agent who led the drug raid at the Southeast Houston home last month is now under a criminal investigation.
There's a difference between lying about who did the buy and not doing a buy at all.
And I remember Yankee Marshal and some other people said that most law enforcement officers don't speak out when other law enforcement officers do wrong. Well, when it's clear they've done wrong, I'll speak up, and here I am. I said it in the last video that something seemed off about the no-knock warrant in Houston. And sure enough, now we know that the officer lied, and that officer needs to be held criminally liable. And I'm not sure if you've seen this or not, but it turns out the chief there said he's going to stop the no-knock warrants there, or at least limit them to a very rare scenario. Now, I'm sure he's just doing that for political reasons, seeing as how he is a politician who supports gun control. But regardless, when someone does right, you should support their actions, even if you do not support them. And there's a popular law enforcement page, a popular pro law enforcement page, that shared an article about this, and they seem to be criticizing him or leaning against his new policy of halting no-knock warrants or no-knock raids, or at least limiting them to rare scenarios. Well, yet again, I'm not just speaking out on here, I'm on there, and there's a few other law enforcement officers, not a lot, or former law enforcement, saying they agree with the chief's decision. And I'm one of them. No-knock warrants or no-knock raids should be limited to very rare scenarios, as they increase the risk of harm for everyone involved. So believe it or not, yes, some of us actually do speak out. But again, I don't work for the Houston Police Department, so me saying anything alone can't necessarily impact what happens there. All I can do is try to lead by example and do the right thing where I'm at. And speak for what's right when I can, which is what I'm doing now. But please, don't let this make you think that all law enforcement officers are willing to do that. You cannot lie when dealing with people's lives, and that's unacceptable. And ones who do should be fired. And I'm not talking about lying about stupid stuff, like how many times they smoke marijuana when they're a teenager. That's a stupid thing to grill somebody over, but it happens. But you have to be honest. You have to be honest about everything you do professionally. So there, I said it. The Houston police were wrong to do what they did. And the officer who caused it all, needs to be prosecuted and held responsible. Well, that's all I really got to say at this point. I'm out.